we're good to go.
What's up, Denver? How are you? The second most important thing in Denver today is realgooddenver.com has updates. So we switched newsletter providers over to Beehive. We are doing an active campaign and it just didn't give us the kind of distribution we were looking for. So we're over at Beehive. So if you're listening to this and you haven't subscribed to the newsletter, please do go to realgooddenver.com and put in your first name and email address, and we're sending out a weekly email. It's going to give you all the updates of absolutely everything going down in Denver, and we're also going to have special promos just for listeners of this podcast and subscribers to the newsletter. I've got about 5 or 6 people lined up as guests. We have a bike shop. We have an Amazon entrepreneur. We have a restaurant, a very famous one in Denver. We got all kinds of good stuff coming. So please go to realgooddenver.com and sign up with your email address. We'd love to see you there. Now, the first most important thing in Denver today is Travis Hunter is him. Tom, Troy, what's going on? How you guys doing?
Doing great.
Doing good. Doing good. Congrats,
Nice. Now,
Travis
Troy,
Hunter, on the
yeah. Troy, I didn't want to step on your toes because we're about to get to sports takes with Troy, but I just had to lead
Right.
in, man. I don't know if you guys did you see the Heisman regalia or whatever that was, the Heisman show?
I didn't watch the show. No, I just saw the results and obviously all of it being shared online.
Dude, it was so funny. There's 4 young, amazing athletes, or a couple of athletes, and then Ashton Genty and Travis Hunter. But all 4 of these guys have their parents with them, you know? And so their parents are like talking about like their development through football, and it's beautiful, you know? And then they get to Travis, and Travis brings Coach Prime, and he brings Shador, and his mom stays in the audience. So, and then they pan and they're like, all right, there's Travis, there's his beautiful fiance, there's Coach Prime, there's Shador, and then there's Lil Wayne.
Nice.
For some reason,
the whole ensemble.
Lil Wayne is here as Coach Prime
Lil
does.
Wayne.
He's got to have rappers, you know. But
That's awesome.
He was amazing. Just what an amazing dude. Travis Hunter's great. It just came out too that Travis, all the he took 0 NIL money and gave it all back to the team so that they could get some other guys on NIL because he's got all his endorsements and stuff. So selfless,
right?
Yeah, superhuman
incredible.
athlete, just great guy.
That's
incredible.
Wild. I don't know if I would, as his accountant, financial advisor, or friend even, advise that of him. But okay. What a guy.
What a guy. Absolutely incredible. So yeah, Troy, let's get some sports takes with Troy. What do you got on tap for this week?
Yeah. A couple hot items in the sports world going on. I was starting off, Travis Hunter winning the Heisman. Just an epic season. I think he kind of had it in the bag. A lot of people thought Ashton Genty was deserving. He was a close runner-up, but I mean, at the end of the day, no one's ever seen a college football athlete like Travis Hunter go both ways. So, hot take, I think he goes 3rd overall next year to the New England Patriots, and we'll see what he declares as. That's where I think he's going to go.
Nice. Troy, who you think's got the top 3 picks in the draft right now?
So I think Raiders 1. I'm hoping they keep losing. I want to get Sanders.
Yeah.
That would be awesome. And then Giants probably number 2. So I think the top 3 picks are going to be Shador Sanders, Cam Ward, and Travis Hunter in some order, if I had to guess. But a couple other items. Mahomes, a little ankle scare. I don't know if you guys saw that, but he left the game with what looked like it could have been a broken ankle. I guess test came back, and it's a high ankle sprain. He's day-to-day. He might even go this week, but we'll see. They're still going for the 1 seed. If they miss out on the 1 seed to the Bills, that could be huge. So the gut tells me Mahomes will be out there, but that was close. That was almost close to derailing a 3-peat season. It looked bad.
He's been
Yeah,
nursing
that would have been
ankle.
insane.
Yeah, he's been nursing that ankle for like 2 seasons. He's always got a high ankle sprain.
Yeah, he does this thing every year. He gets some ankle sprain in the playoffs. Everyone thinks, "Oh no, Mahomes is hurt." Then he looks all gimpy the whole game. In the final drive, he scampers without a limp for 25 yards to seal the game on game-winning drive. Every year, same thing. So can't say I'm surprised. Then the last hot topic I have is the Denver Broncos. This Thursday against the Chargers can, if with a win, they'll clinch their first playoff berth since Super Bowl 50, which was, of course, the Peyton Manning season. So all they have to do is win against the Chargers, and they're in. So huge game coming up for the Broncos this week. And if they don't win, they can still get in the playoffs. They just need a couple more things to fall into place. But this is a huge game for Denver Thursday.
Massive. And the Chargers are looking good.
Yeah, Chargers are looking good also. I think Chargers just came off a pretty tough loss this week. Tampa Bay laid like 40 points on them, so they're probably going to come at it with a little more steam this week against the Broncos in the divisional matchup.
Harbaugh's been lighting them up all week. I saw this thing. It was this is like the first winning season since Vance Joseph tanked the franchise with his tenure as a head coach. But as he's come back as defensive coordinator, he's brought the team back up. So as Vance Joseph ebbs and flows, so goes the Broncos.
Yeah, exciting stuff. Looking forward to Thursday. It's gonna be a huge game.
Yeah, and Nick Bonito looks like he might be a defensive player of the year at this point. He's got 11 sacks, like 2 pick sixes. I think he's got 4 interceptions. Bonito is just a monster this year. Amazing.
Yeah, he's incredible.
Nice. Those are some
that's
solid.
What we got on tap for sports. Yeah.
This is my new favorite section. This really keeps us in line. Otherwise, we might spin off into 10 hot takes with Tom.
Yeah, I mean, later on tonight, I'm actually appearing on my some of my buddies' podcast for their fantasy league. So I'm sure they're going to ask me all of the questions that I don't know the answers to. And that's the fun part for them.
Nice.
So that's all right.
Nice.
This is their podcast. Shout out their podcast.
Yeah, well, I would, but it's private. It's like just it's shared in a Google Drive. The Bayscast. Shout out to the Bayscast still. But yeah, it's just my buddies. They do it for their internal league, where they're all competing against each other.
Nice. Internal podcast. That's next level fantasy right there.
Yeah, private pod. That's what it's about.
I love it.
They just have their weekly thing, man. And then now that it's the end of the season, I'm the one who gets to be the guest this week.
Love it.
Nice.
All right, Tom. Where are we riding this week, brother?
Steamboat. You're riding at Steamboat if you want snow this weekend. So I finally found my in-depth snow report source that I was thinking of in the other weeks. But first, I'll just go through the base depths. Coming in the close to Denver range. Winter Park's looking good. 28 to 30 inches of packed powder. 47% open. And then we have plenty of others. This one, what happened to our other? I don't know where our other mountains are today, but it's still looking like these mountains are struggling to get stuff open. But the real juice is here in the weather.gov probabilistic snow forecast for Colorado. This is where you get the real deal, most up to date, and in my experience and some of my buddies' experience, most accurate. And this is it's great because it gives you the probability of like anything. So it's like, here's the chances that this is going to happen. So I mean, if you go click around this website, there's some really cool stuff, and a lot of it is like experimental methods. They have different kind of ratings and readings that you can check out to see. But if we go down to, this is my favorite one right here, and I'm showing it on the screen to the viewers here. But if you scroll down on the page just to that second section, percent chance that snow amount will be greater than. And what it is you can hover over each thing. Okay, it's going to show you here where there's a chance that there's going to be more than 0.1 inches of snow. And then if you move up, all right, what's definitely getting more than 1 inch, what's getting more than 2 inches, and then obviously the area gets smaller and smaller as you go up. But it's looking like in areas of Steamboat, right on the mountain right there, just east of the city, which is where the resort is, we're looking like some areas are hitting 100% chance of more than 6 inches in the next 24 hours until 5 a.m. tomorrow. We even have small slivers going above 12 inches up there. So, and that's basically the only place in the whole state that's getting the snow this week. You have maybe 1 inch over at Vail, Winter Park, Copper. So I mean, this is just where you get the best forecast. And from our experience, it's all.
What's that website again?
It's linked up in the sheet, and we'll put it into the bio as well. But you can type in weather.gov/BOU/winter.
/BOU.
Yeah, I don't know why it's /BOU. But when you type it in, maybe it's going off of Boulder. That's why, Denver, Boulder. But you should get probabilistic snow forecast for Colorado should be the page you land on.
Nice, yeah, man.
And you can change.
Yeah, this is.
You can even look at ice
This looks like
accumulation, winter storm outlooks. But it's legit. Go ahead and scroll down to the percent chance that snow amounts will be greater than. This is for today at 5 a.m. till tomorrow at 5 a.m. And they update this every day. And if you hover over 1 inch, 2 inches, 4 inches, it'll change that view for you.
Yeah, this is sweet. This looks like it was designed in the early 2000s by engineers, and that's why it's still working, because it's got all the information you need.
Yeah, exactly. And then you can go down to the chart too, and you can see by city. So if you wanted to go Denver metro area, all right, it's a safe 0% in the next 24 hours for sure, Denver metro area. But if we go up to, say, Summit County, we can see the low end snowfall is going to be less than 1 inch here. High end snowfall up to 4 inches at the Eisenhower Tunnel. So like it gets so in depth, and it's really cool. It's just a good way for you to get a decent idea of what's probably going to happen. So safe bet that and honestly, looking out the window, the clouds are up there in that Rocky Mountain National Park direction. So, and then when I look down south, it's not cloudy as much. So I got verification. I got eyes in the sky right now. It's looking like,
no, dude, this
thing's on.
It's coming. This is cool. Yeah, I mean, it gives you like a topography map. It's really cool.
Yeah, and I like just being able to scroll through. It's like, okay, what are the odds we're getting 6 inches, 8 inches, above a foot, you know?
Yeah, totally.
You should see this site when there's a big storm running through. Like, it's crazy. They get so in depth, and they really get granular with like the exact locations. They're like, we're calling. It's like it's like, I don't even know. It's like the election where they're calling certain states for certain candidates. They'll be like, we're calling 6.5 inches for Aspen. We're calling 3 inches for Castle Rock. Like, they get so in depth, and I just like it. And it's a .gov. You know that there's real people behind this working on it. We're not just looking at the Weather Channel here, where they're just saying, it'll probably snow, 30% chance of snow. Here they're like, here's a 90% chance of more than 1 inch, 70% chance more than 2 inches. Like, we love it. So this is what we use as our thing. They even up towards the top too, just real quick before we move on, you can see current hazards. So like any sort of report or like hazard that's around the state, like if a road closed or if there was like an avalanche or something, you can see that type of stuff up there. Current conditions for different areas. You can see the live radar, anything.
Yeah, this
This is
is
the
cool,
site.
man. This is the site. I need to dig into this.
Mm-hmm.
Probabilistic snowfall forecast. Love it.
Yes,
Dude, did you hear about the dude that fell at Keystone this week?
I did hear he was apparently trying to strap in his board or adjust his bindings while on the lift with the thing down. So hopefully he's gonna be all right. But
He fell from the lift.
yeah, I think
47 feet.
47-foot fall.
What was the what kind of terrain was it over?
That's what I don't know. I know exactly the lift that he did it on, but
Because if it was powder,
yeah, but I don't think it snowed over this weekend, so there's a good
It's
chance.
probably a
oh,
groomer.
There's a good chance it was
Yeah.
something else. I think it was. I'm sure he probably fell into like a wooded area under a lift. If I just knowing which lift it was, I think it was the Ruby Express lift. But
oh man,
yeah, hopefully he's all right.
gotta
But
have those little safety guardrails down.
especially if you're going to adjust your boot or binding on the lift. I mean, you're leaning
Mhm.
forward. If that lift does a short stop, you're going. So, hey man, it's just goes to show
I
you
know.
got to follow those rules.
Yeah, man, just wait. Just wait till you're off the lift.
Yeah, exactly.
God.
I mean, what's he gonna do? Save a couple seconds by not needing to strap in? If that's what he was doing, that's rough.
I know. Well, in Ruby Express, it's like that's one of that is like one of the biggest, I mean, entry points to Keystone. Like it's like that's what an 8-seater, Tom, isn't it? Ruby?
I think the Ruby Express is one of the mid-mountain ones.
Okay.
Let me see here.
Oh, we got our guest is showing up.
All right, let's bring him in. Yeah.
Cool.
We're gonna have to
Bring
come
him
back,
on in.
ladies and gentlemen. We got a guest who's coming. We'll get to events after. Let's bring him in.
For sure, for sure.
Hey, Matt.
Hey, how are you?
Doing great, buddy. How are you?
We're doing okay. A little bit tired.
All right.
Yeah.
That's
I
kind of
want
the
to
time of the
introduce you to
year.
Tom and Troy, and just to let you know, we're live streaming right now. The podcast is going right now.
Awesome.
Great to have you, Matt.
Welcome
Yeah,
on,
great
Matt.
to meet you guys. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Yes,
Indeed,
happy
we're so
holidays.
stoked to have you on the show.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
What
No,
I'll
I
do,
appreciate the opportunity.
you bet. Let me give you a little bit of an intro, then fill in where I make a mistake.
Sure.
So Matt is the founder of a modern Christmas tree company, and aptly named, it's modernchristmastrees.com. Correct?
Right. That's correct.
And your product is absolutely stunningly beautiful. It's basically a Christmas tree that's made of concentric circles that you can see in the background is a small one on your shelf. And what I really like about it is it has a big, it's very dramatic with the light. So we wanted to bring you on because you're a Denver company, you're a Colorado company, and you have a wonderful product. It's Christmas time. We want to talk about Christmas trees, and we definitely want to hear about your story. But before we get going, what are 3 of your favorite things about Denver, Colorado?
Well, I'm a native, so I like how it was 20 years ago. It's got a bit
Classic.
crowded, and I still love it. All my family's here, and obviously Red Rocks. I love Pearl Street in Boulder. To give you a little bit of the backstory, the tree was originally designed by my grandfather in 1966.
Wow.
So he was an engineer. He did projects for NASA. He designed the liquid nitrogen tanks for the Apollo and Mercury missions. And he went to CU, as did my other grandfather and my parents and everyone else. So certainly Boulder has we have a strong connection, and obviously the Broncos, the Nuggets, and the Avalanche.
Sco Buffs.
Very nice.
And the Buffs, obviously. My dad played for CU, and my mom was a cheerleader. So yeah, we our roots in Boulder here run pretty deep.
That's awesome. Where'd you go to high school?
I went to Highlands Ranch High School.
Nice.
With like the first graduating, one of the first few grad.
Shoot, is Matt breaking up on your end, guys?
Just a
you
little
hear
bit,
me?
yeah.
Yeah,
I
he
think I
just
heard
lost him.
Say he was in one of the first
There he is.
graduating classes there, but I see him now. You're back, man.
There he is.
That's awesome.
Nice. That's awesome. There's not too many natives, so we got to stick together, you know.
Right.
Cool. Now, I know that a part of your story, modernchristmastrees.com, and I'm glad you took us back to your grandfather who designed it, is the Shark Tank. And I want to bring that up particularly because of all the sharks. I love Barbara. And I know you did a deal with her. So I would love to hear what that experience was like and maybe what your experience with Barbara's like.
Yeah, she's great. I mean, it's interesting because Forbes did an article a couple of years ago about the Shark Tank experience. And it's interesting that about 50% of the deals that close on television don't ever close with the sharks. Either they weren't honest or somebody got cold feet. And that certainly wasn't the experience with Barbara. Not all the relationships between the sharks and the contestants, from what I hear, has been good, but the experience with her has been great. I mean, we're not a great Shark Tank product in terms of price point, but she knows that this will be a company that will be around for, hopefully 100 years with kind of this timeless design that my grandfather came up with in the 60s. So she's been great. She's not all up in my business and kind of allows us to do what we do. And she's been great. I can't say a bad thing about her.
Cool. Give us a sense of Shark Tank behind the scenes. Those amazing pitches. Do you have help putting those together?
Yeah. In fact, I had a bunch of help. I worked with a couple, friends that were consultants. My cousin designed our set. He's the theater director at Colorado College. So, it was an interesting experience. I watched every episode I could possibly watch of Shark Tank, and I wrote down every question the shark asked. And based on what I knew and learned about the sharks, I knew what the right answer was for them, I thought. So, I was on stage for over an hour, and then they chopped that up into 12 minutes or what have you, and get rid of kind of the clunky parts, thankfully. And it no regrets. It's a tough thing to kind of prepare for. I prepared for months, and all of a sudden you walk out, and I got cardboard cutouts of every shark and put them in my basement. Found out where my mark was to speak, and lined up the sharks in their seats and practiced thousands and thousands of times. And I walked out, and they're in the wrong seats, and that kind of threw me for a loop. The first thing you have to do when you walk out there is you have to stand in front of them, looking at them for a couple minutes without anyone saying anything. And then they adjust the cameras and the sound and all that stuff. So it was pretty awkward, but no regrets. It forced me to learn my business like every business person should. And it was a cool experience.
You're standing there is there some nonverbal communication, or is like Barb mad dog in you to get going? She like trying to get in your head a little bit?
No, although, I did quickly learn that they all talk over themselves when they're asking a question. So you'll get 4 questions at the same time. And then, it was an interesting experience. I'm glad it existed. I mean, I get the opportunity now to speak in front of high schools and junior highs and elementary schools that are doing Shark Tank style, projects. And I wish I would have had a class like that in high school. it's great that this show has kind of created, you know, this next thing with kids, and now they're thinking about, well, what problem could I solve, or what do I see in the world that could be better, and um, it's been a cool experience.
Cool.
Without a
Tell
doubt.
us a bit about your career. It seems like, you're doing some pretty darn good revenue as far with modern Christmas trees. Are you all in the modern Christmas trees, or do you have kind of a portfolio of companies?
No, I mean, no. Well, I'm glad you asked. I'm all in on modern Christmas trees. It's not about the money
Hmm.
for me. There's good years and bad years. My goal from the beginning was, how do I share the story of my grandfather? So the exciting news that I'm happy to share with you on your show is that we are doing a major motion picture about my grandfather and grandmother and their family. It's a Christmas movie set
Wow.
through the 1940s through 1969, and it will all be filmed in Colorado, a lot in Boulder, Denver, and Fort Collins. And I'm excited it'll give a lot of the local film talent opportunities. So we start pre-production right after the new year, and in a perfect world, it gets released in theaters at the end of next year.
Wow.
Amazing. Tell us about your grandfather.
That is awesome.
Yeah, I mean, he was
That is
definitely my
awesome.
hero. That's his high school graduation photo tattooed on my arm. I got that when he was first diagnosed with Alzheimer's, so that he could still recognize his face. Very important person to me. Very funny. Loved his family. Had an engineering brain, and so kind of a dorky, kind of eccentric person. If we were to find the perfect character to play him in the movie, it would be like a young Jim Carrey that was an engineer. So that's kind of his personality. He was, the self-deprecating humor, and liked to make people laugh, and didn't take himself very seriously. And yeah, again, engineer, did projects for NASA. After he got disenchanted with aerospace, he quit his company to build A-frame cabins throughout the Rocky Mountains. So he built, I think it's about 100 throughout the Rocky Mountains. So if you see one
Cool.
in the mountains, chances are it's one that he made. And the cool thing about that is, um, he had 5 children, all of which worked for his company and paid their own way through college by working for him. He paid them very well, and then they were able to pay, their own way through college, all 5 of them. So it's kind of a family business.
Cool. What's the theme of the movie?
Well, I mean, it is a Christmas movie at some level. My grandfather was heavily influenced by a gentleman that's kind of named Buckminster Fuller. He
Yeah.
designed the first, geodesic
Geodesic dome.
dome and
Yeah.
the autonomous driving car, and so he plays a big role in the movie. So it's not necessarily a Christmas movie. It's not necessarily a romantic comedy. It's not necessarily a period piece, but I guess it's all of those things. And I'd like to think that it'll be a holiday movie that will resonate with people on an emotional and intellectual level, which
Mm.
is a unique space. I think a lot of the Hallmark Christmas movies and what have you just don't offer that level of depth. So we're definitely going off, after top-notch talent, and we've got a bunch of people in mind to play Buckminster Fuller, and excited to tell the story. So we'll see.
Awesome.
How are you financing the movie?
It's privately financed through a family member who's committed over 15 million to make it happen here locally. So yeah, fully funded. We have our director, and right now we're going after national casting producers. And once we have our casting producer in place, then we'll be able to hire our lead, and then everything else will fall under that. But we move into our pre-production facilities on the campus of CU on the 8th. So things are finally moving forward. We are fourth version of the script. And so, yeah, it's not going as quickly as we'd like, but it just seems to be getting better and better.
It's a huge
Can I make a
project.
recommendation?
Sure.
Young Buckminster Fuller. Just look at Tom in that little square right there. Like
There you go.
he's got it.
Oh man,
I
yeah.
think he's the
Well, yeah,
guy.
but we need the Buckminster Fuller of the his 1950s and 60s, with the very thick glasses, and
Yeah.
we've got
Mm,
some. We're thinking of Ed Harris, and the great thing about Buckminster Fuller is he influenced all sorts of different people, and so there are a lot of, whether you're an architect or an artist or environmentalist, there are all sorts of people who have been influenced by him, and he's been kind of an enigma, although he's inspired so many people that we're excited to kind of share a bit of his story beyond him standing on stage and rambling on for hours and hours, kind
Mhm.
of getting a bit more to the personal side of him. We've met with his family members and the Buckminster Institute in San Francisco, and we went through the archives at Stanford to kind of get a better idea of who this person was and what he might be like in the movie. And yeah, we're excited. I think this is going to be a big movie. We're going to make it a big movie.
Definitely. So cool.
that's exciting.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah,
Should we get into
it's
the
amazing.
design of the tree a little bit? I mean, uh, one quick question, and just so you know, Matt, I have the visuals on, so the people back home who are watching on YouTube and on any video platforms can see the tree right now. They're taking a look at your website, and it's really cool.
Awesome.
So I mean, the you can customize the ornaments that you want to have on it. It looks like it seems like there's already pre-made slots for your ornaments to fit right in. But I mean, these things look great. Um, I love the I
Yeah,
love
thank
the
you.
one concept there where they have them hanging upside down. It looks almost like a hotel lobby
Yeah,
or
that's at
something.
the Disneyland Hotel. So
Amazing.
a lot of our projects are mostly are residential, but we've done some really cool commercial projects as well, like the Disneyland Hotel, and then I did a tree for the Swarovski store at Rockefeller Center,
Mm-hmm.
which is really cool because at the same time, the famous architect Daniel Libeskind, who designed the Denver Art Museum and One World Trade Center, he partnered with Swarovski to do the topper of the Rockefeller Center tree. And then
Yes.
Swarovski then partnered with me to do a custom tree with a replica of his star on my tree in the store. So I don't know. It's not all about making money, because oftentimes it's not what people think, but it's about the tree being part of pop culture and trying to do the biggest and greatest things that you possibly can. And one of the
Mm-hmm.
reasons for the movie is that we were my marketing director and I were lamenting the fact that the tree has not been featured in a major motion picture. It was in Spirited with Ryan Reynolds and Will Ferrell, but if you blink you totally saw it. So we
Yeah.
thought, let's this is an interesting story, and let's tell it and let's see what people think.
So cool.
You said money isn't the only thing. It's a very interesting thing for an entrepreneur to say. What else is it? Are you in it for? Obviously, your grandfather's legacy is a big component of it.
Right.
Are you like a true Christmas sentimentalist? Is this about the Christmas
No,
spirit?
not at all. I do love everything 1950s and 60s, and Christmas as part of pop culture fits in that. I think I'm just a creative person. I didn't have the opportunity to have kids, and there's how do you create a legacy, right? You either do it work or you do it with the family that you create. So since I don't have my own kids, there was some motivation on, what can I leave so that when I'm gone, something important will carry on.
Mm.
Um, so that was kind of the motivation for that. Any entrepreneur that is becoming an entrepreneur to become rich is not doing it for the right reasons. And as you know,
Mm,
most businesses fail. I think after the seventh year, it's like, only 20% are still around. So, going into to become an entrepreneur, if you're chasing dollar signs, then I just, it's so difficult, as you probably all know, unless you struck it rich on your first idea. It's a complete battle. People
Yeah.
see the Shark Tank and the cover of Westward and movie stuff, but they don't understand all the other things that go into it and all the other, and when you're manufacturing a physical product, it's not software. So, and it's seasonal. And so that has its own challenges, and it's a niche market because it doesn't resonate with 90% of people. You have to kind of know who you're for and who you're not for. So there's just a lot of unique challenges.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the truth. I mean, one thing I really like about your website is there's some great pictures of like your grandfather with the tree. We're
Mm-hmm.
talking mid-century mod, and it has the classic
Yep.
patinaed pictures. All the pictures of people from the 50s and 60s and Christmas, they got bigger smiles than I'm used to. And I this is just an assumption, but I think it's because they had martinis and cigarettes. That was part of Christmas at one point, you know?
Yeah, I mean, there's some truth to that. I also think, I mean, it was probably the best time, the post World War II, the greatest time in American history. The war was over, people were having families, you had aerospace coming out, the cars from back then. I don't know. You didn't have the internet, you didn't have social media, you didn't have all of those distractions. There was a emphasis on family, actually having dinners together and, you know, making things when you can and not going to the store to buy them. I mean, that was my grandfather. He built all the furniture in their house and built the tree. And I think that's, yes, he was an engineer, but I think that generation, now you just hop on Amazon, you click a button, and a day later you have whatever it is that you need. And I'm
You, you
hoping the
know,
movie reminds people of that simpler time where things were maybe a little bit
well,
easier.
it seems like back then too, there was an eye for beauty and design, that I'm definitely nostalgic for as well. The cars you mentioned, the furniture, like mid-century modern is awesome. And you look
Yep.
kind of flash forward now, you look at the cars, every single car is kind of a different look of a five-door hatchback sedan.
Right.
And I mean, Porsche's got one, Lexus has one, Volkswagen has one, Toyota. I mean, they're kind of all the same thing. In fashion, I keep abreast of men's fashion, which I'm sure you can tell, but like
Totally.
looking
That was
for
my
like
first thing I was thinking.
Definitely.
fashion icon failure. No, but like in some of these men's fashion subreddits, there people are throwing parties and they're saying specifically no Apple Watch because to these folks, and I hadn't heard that before, but like they're just saying like the aesthetic that we have now, which is like super minimal, super clean, is
Mhm.
distracting from the presentation that they're going for. So in
Ooh.
some ways, like of course these tools are so cool. Apple Watch is awesome. Our phones are so cool, but it is almost devoid of any kind of design. So
Right.
that the mid-century mod has this like futuresque aspiration, but it also does have that sentimental feeling of something well designed and something beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping it's timeless and that, you know, 20, 40, 50 years from now, you'll be able to look at that tree and, say, yeah, it still works and it's still relevant. And, it'll change and some of the materials will change and maybe the decorations will change. Um, but yeah, I'm hoping it'll be around for, another half century or century, like Barbara hopes it is. Again, it's not a huge moneymaker for her. But, I definitely have the right shark who believes in what I'm doing and believes in the story and continuing great design. I mean, my grandfather he didn't sell these; he just made for the family. So
Yeah.
without me helping, there's no tree that people all over the world can have for their home to make the holiday special and carry on the tradition. So very grateful for it.
Now, it kind of
Is
wrapping things up here. Oh, go ahead, Troy. Sorry, my bad.
Oh, I was just going to quickly ask, is Barbara involved with the movie aspect in any way?
Um, well, we haven't. Not yet. We're kind of waiting for our
Mm-hmm.
casting director to get set in place, and then our lead or leads, so that it becomes more exciting for her to get involved in. But she's been very supportive, so I can't imagine that she wouldn't promote it or be a part of it.
It's great.
Awesome.
Sweet.
Will you tell Barbara I said what's up? Tell her I love her.
Totally.
Matt, is that
We don't talk all the time, but next time I talk to her, I'll let her know.
Cool.
nice? Is that a Jubilee tabletop tree behind you right there?
Yep, that is. So my grandfather never designed one of those. He designed the full tree and then the wall tree that fits flush against the wall. So I unveiled this one a few years ago, and there's a remote, so you can change the color of it. There's a color cycle, and for those people who want something minimal and subtle, and the tree does very well.
Yeah, I mean that's what I would need. It's a nice apartment-sized tree for me.
Totally. Yep.
Cool.
Tom's also kind of a low-key expert of lighting, particularly party lighting.
Lighting, yeah.
Yeah, no, the lighting is the critical element in with the trees. I don't know if my grandfather knew that early on. There's one photo that we have of his, I think, in the 80s, where it's showing you the ceiling. But I think he might have stumbled onto that part of it much later. But the idea that how do you create the most impact with the smallest amount of material is, I think, a cool design principle.
Absolutely.
All right. So, Matt, thank you so much for coming on and telling us about your grandfather and this awesome product. It's crunch time. If our listeners who are streaming this right now came on the website and ordered it, would they get it in time for Christmas?
Yeah. In fact, we have a 2-day shipping option as well if you want to upgrade to 2-day shipping. Otherwise, it's free shipping. But we've got, I think, about 20 of these little guys left. We've got maybe 15 of the wall trees and maybe 30 of the full-size trees. So yeah, I mean, it's not too late to make the holidays special and memorable. And these trees people have for years and years. The idea is that you pass it on to your children, it becomes a family heirloom. The reality is it should last forever.
Yes.
Nice. I love it. We'll also ship a description and a picture in our newsletter tomorrow, which I think goes out to about 10,000 folks. So let's see if we can sell some modern Christmas trees, although I know that's not really what you're here for.
No, but it helps. No, I appreciate you guys. Anytime I can share the story about my grandfather and his creation to design. I mean, his signature is laser engraved on every tree that I make. So thank you for showing interest and helping me share the story.
Absolutely. Thanks so much, Matt. Have a great day.
And then let's do this again next year, and I'll invite you guys to the premiere of the movie at the Boulder Theater, where my grandmother was a ticket ripper back in the 19th. So
wow,
I would love that.
That would be amazing.
Wow.
We would definitely come through.
Let's do it.
We'll do a live.
We'll definitely do it.
there.
All right, gentlemen.
Cool.
Happy holidays.
Thanks, Matt.
Yeah.
Happy holidays.
All right, take care.
See you.
Nice. That was awesome.
Cool. Yeah, super cool product. I mean, it looks
incredible.
great, and the small tabletop tree could be just what I need for my place here. I don't have room for a big full-size tree, but these are cool and they look good, and I'm all about the lighting. So
Yeah, man. Plus, when you put the gifts under the tree, you really get them. They're illuminated. You know what I mean?
mm-hmm.
If you're a kid, you're looking underneath that tree like, ooh.
Yeah, what do we got? It's nice.
It's so cool.
Very cool.
Nice. Shout out to Matt and Michael. Shout out to Michael. He's probably listening, but he helped put this together. That was really cool. Well, I don't know if we have time to do events, but we'll definitely hit them in the newsletter. Unless you got a couple of things, Tom, you want to hit on.
No, not specifically, but I mean, we could just maybe jump to the feature. The only main event that I thought was a really cool one for our friends at Bow Brew House, they have their Nocturne Nights Holiday Edition, which is going to be featuring some craft holiday themed cocktails off of your naughty list and your nice list. So you have 2 different lists of cocktails to choose from. They're going to be taking you in. You'll get some cool, food options as well, with a dumpling sampler, a digestif, and your own cocktail selected. That's included in your price. So what they're doing over there is really cool, and the way the bar is decorated is just like that classic Christmas theme and vibe that you're always looking for out of a themed bar around this time. So try to check that out. But otherwise, no, let's we could hop right into the feature really quick. I think we'll have enough time to wrap that up really briefly. But our feature this week is gonna be, some Denver holiday traditions. What are some things that you could do every year without fail? And to me, the main one that I've done the most years, and it's probably the most amount of tradition for me, is the zoo lights. And they always do a good job there. It's always miserably cold when you get there, and you think it's a mistake the second that you walked in. But by the time you're halfway through, you're warmed up, you're enjoying the lights, and then who doesn't love to see some cool reptiles on a cold winter night? Because that's the only animals that you're able to see during the zoo lights. You get to walk inside the reptile room, the reptile exhibit, and it's nice and warm in there. You get to get out from the cold, see some cool snakes and lizards and whatever it is. But yeah, the zoo lights is obviously a tradition here. Another one, which this one...
Reptiles are like my favorite exhibit.
No,
so
exactly.
That works.
Yeah.
That works for me.
That's all you can see during the zoo
Yeah.
lights. That's all it's open. It's like the warm haven, You stay warm in there.
The heating rock.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Those guys need to stay warm. Another one, this already passed last weekend, but the Parade of Lights, solid tradition. See your cool lights, and you don't even have to move around. Just stay in one place, get to see all the lights. And then, favorite of mine, and these happen every friggin' weekend. You just got to do one per season, but a SantaCon, and that, that even includes the ugly sweater bar crawls, your SantaCon bar crawls. But anytime you're out and about in town, any of these December weekends, you're going to see all of the Santas out, all of the people having fun dressed in their Christmas-themed outfits. I had just... been downtown on Saturday during the day, and I was dodging Santas left and right. So it's really fun. If you haven't done that, it's a cool thing to hop onto. Everyone's just out to have a good time around the town.
Nice. A couple of these I can jump on the Parade of Lights. When my kids were little, we did it every single year. You get them in the onesie. It is always freezing cold. And generally speaking, this is challenging for me because I'm not a parade guy. Honestly, I hate parades. I am the rain on the parade. You got the traffic and all the people, kids darting out into the road to get candy with, it's not my thing, but the Parade of Lights is absolutely exceptional with kids. And so all the preparation it takes to get there really does pay off. Once Santa concludes that parade and goes by, the sparkle in the kids' eyes, something, it's extraordinary. And it really, in Denver, really kind of cleans up well for it. The other thing that we always used to do when I was a kid is drive around and look at the Christmas lights. Now it's a little bit different because everyone's got inflatables and everyone's got LED lights. But back in the day, some people would really go full Griswold with it. Mm-hmm. And we would love to go to like the polo clubs, or I forget the name of that neighborhood down south on University, just past like Yale down there, or then even going up to the foothills where folks would go really hard with in Golden and stuff like that. But always loved those kind of late nights in the car looking at Christmas lights. Troy, what are some Christmas traditions with you that maybe not Denver specific, but I'm sure people can relate?
Yeah, I gotta agree on the neighborhood lights. I feel like every town, no matter where you are, whatever city, whatever neighborhood, there's always that one neighborhood where everyone goes all out, or specifically one house that goes all out. There's always that one house every year that everyone's like, oh, that house on that street, on that corner. And yeah, just drive around in the car, and just sometimes they even turn it into like a whole gathering. Like there'll be a little neighborhood thing with like vendors, and you can walk around and check out all the really cool decorated houses. But that's definitely one of the main traditions, I would say, that is usually cool. I mean, wherever you are.
Mm-hmm.
I know I'm in Hawaii right now, and I know there's actually a specific house in the neighborhood where I'm at on Maui that does it every year. So I'll be checking that out.
Sweet.
But always love when people go all out
Yeah,
on the
Totally.
decorations.
it's great to see.
I need to get on to Troy's Christmas tradition in Hawaii. That seems so good.
That's not a bad tradition.
Yeah, it's not horrible.
Cool. Well, let's leave it there. Ladies and gentlemen, we did record a podcast last week and it was corrupted, so we couldn't release it. Sorry about that. And then we have a decision to make. Next Tuesday is Christmas Eve, right?
Yes.
I figure
Right.
let's skip the episode. I think I might have a supplemental one I can run. Maybe I can get it over to you guys before Monday to put out. Otherwise, we can take a break.
I think that makes
You know?
sense.
Yeah,
if we could
yeah,
find
totally.
something, if we could find something to put together, if we have something, we can schedule it to go out Christmas Eve, little Christmas special. But yeah, I think that makes sense. I don't know how many live viewers we'll have.
We could
Otherwise,
do-
we'll be back on the 7th. New
oh
Year.
yeah, right. And then it's New Year's Eve the following, right?
So yeah, we'll be back on the 7th. So it'll be a new year, new us, and we'll have some great content to share.
Yes.
Love it.
New
Cool,
Year's
okay.
resolutions. Denver New Year's resolutions coming.
That's right. We come back on the 7th, see if we've already broke our resolutions.
Yeah.
Are they over?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Amazing.
Okay, cool.
All right.
Well, thanks everybody. Shout out to our sponsors. Shout out to Troy for producing the music and Troy and Tom for doing the production. Go to realgooddenver.com, sign up for the newsletter. You can also find links there for Spotify, for Apple Podcasts, for TikTok, for Instagram and YouTube. And until then, we'll see you guys on the 7th.
Alrighty. Happy holidays,
Cool.
everyone.
All right. Happy holidays, everyone.